Hello, welcome to this brief introductory video providing information and an overview of our Psychological Science MA Specialization program within the Department of Psychology at Cleveland State University. My name is Dr. Eric Allard, and I am currently serving as the program director. First and foremost, I want to give you a quick little overview of what we are as a program. The Psychological Science Specialization is in its first year of existence during the 2020-2021 academic year. Their program was previously referred to as the Experimental Research Program, but has since transitioned for a variety of reasons, one of which was to provide students a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more comprehension in terms of the research training that they are provided that can be very advantageous towards their next steps, whether that be doctoral training or some form of research career outside of academia. So right now we are a 2-year graduate program that awards a Master of Arts degree in psychology with a specialization in psychological science. We provide foundational research training through both coursework and laboratory experiences. And then ultimately your training is going to culminate in an independent thesis project that's going to be worked on under the supervision of a primary faculty advisor. Our core primary faculty advisors are listed here. This is the current core group of faculty members within the program. However, the way that we set up our graduate programs here at a faculty level at Cleveland State University is that additional faculty could be joining this program in the future. We would hope that that would be the case, because part of the philosophies of this program is to be extremely inclusive in terms of the various aspects of psychological science that are covered within our program. And you'll see just by a brief little scanning of the faculty that we have here, we have a variety of different individuals with a vast diversity of interests, from IO psychologists, cognitive psychologists, social psychologists, and developmental psychologists. But this could also include members from our clinical faculty, school faculty, and the like. So these would be the individuals, though, at least currently, that you would be primarily working with within our program. So as I give you some information in just a little bit about the application process, be very mindful of these individuals within the program when thinking about who might be a suitable potential mentor for you. So our program is broken up into 2-year full-time sequences. Now, there may be some exceptions to this full-time program that's usually taken up on a case-by-case basis, but when students apply and are admitted to the program, it's with the expectation that they would be conducting this program over 2 years at a full-time level. So our program covers 36 credits, which usually could be broken down into 9 credits over the 4 semesters of the program. And the credits are broken down into this sequence. Okay, so first and foremost, we have core research courses that are required for all of our students. That includes graduate statistics, 2 semesters worth, and a research methods course. There's also an independent study / advanced research in psychological science credit. You need at least 1 credit as a requirement, but you can take up to 7 credits of independent research. And this typically is going to be additional research beyond your thesis that is conducted either with your primary advisor or could be conducted with another member of the program faculty. We also have the opportunity for students to take content area courses. You're required to take at least 1 course within these 3 content domains, but you don't have to take all 3, but you could if you so choose. A lot of it is going to be dependent on the type of research area that you want to focus on. So we have a content-oriented course in social psychology, 1 in cognitive psychology, and 1 in neuroscience. And then students are also required to take 8 total credits of thesis. Half of those credits are for thesis development, and half of those are for the actual thesis execution. So you can see just very briefly on the right-hand side here how we kind of set up the program sequence. You have core and elective courses that you're taking both in your first and second year. But within that first year, you're typically working on your thesis proposal, and that second year is for your thesis defense. Finally, part of that 36 credits is going to be 4 credits that are dispersed over the entire 4 semesters of your time within the program. And that's a pro-seminar course in psychological science. And in that course, students are getting exposed to research both by the primary faculty within within the program, as well as students within the program. So students get an opportunity to present on their own research, faculty present on their research or other professional development type topics. And sometimes we bring in outside speakers from the area as well to talk about their research that might be relevant and of interest to our students. So our program philosophy, I alluded to it just a little bit ago, but first and foremost, we're really focused on training students in research. Okay, so supervised research is an extremely important component to this program. So students are going to be exposed to either basic and or applied research that can include surveys, experimental designs, or some form of multi-method design. One track is to prepare our students for doctoral training, so PhD level training, where we can help you develop a research narrative, so some sort of research program that you can articulate that will be of interest to potential PhD advisors. Getting references from faculty within the program or department who can speak to your credentials, and then helping you to develop effective applications for the next step. In addition to the doctoral study preparation track, we also give students the opportunity, if they're interested, to get some amount of resources to put them on a career outside of academia. While the program faculty are academics, and that's the training that we got, and that's what we know in terms of training students for the next steps, we know that not all students are going to go that route. Academic route isn't necessarily for everybody. But there are opportunities for you to parlay the experiences in the research credentials that you've gained through our program to work outside of academia. And I'll give you a little bit of an overview of how some of our students have been successful with some of those outcomes. So to give you a little bit of an overview of recent student outcomes, we've been highly successful in placing our students both into a variety of PhD programs as well as non-academic career paths. Okay, so you see a list of the various universities throughout the country, but then also internationally that our students have been able to be placed in, as well as a variety of non-academic careers, both in research settings in health institutions like hospitals, but then also a variety of other domains and areas as well. So one thing that our program can provide for you is a multitude of opportunities to maximize your experience to whatever direction you want to take it. All right, so I briefly want to quickly just go over a few bits of information for individuals interested in applying to the program, or for individuals who are in the process of applying to the program and want some additional assistance. So every year, the deadline for our application is February 10th, and you're going to apply through a link from our program website that will send you to a third-party software program referred to as SciCast, where you actually fill out the application information and append your materials. One thing I want to highlight for the 2021 applicants is that the GRE is waived. You do not have to submit a GRE for this upcoming year. Okay. Whether or not this is going to be extended in subsequent years is to be determined, but at least for this year, you do not have to submit those scores. You're welcome to submit those scores, but we will not be using them to make admissions decisions. Another thing we want to highlight is that no interview is required for our program as well, although you may be in contact either with some of our faculty or current students on a more informal level if we're interested in getting a little bit more information about your application. So some of the materials that you need to provide for us are your academic transcripts, at least 2 letters of recommendation. You know, you can have a third if you so choose, but 2 is the minimum that we require. And then a personal statement that outlines the following: your research interests, okay, your goals for the program, and then very importantly, your research fit with at least one faculty member. Okay, when we're reviewing our applications, we want to make sure that the students that are coming in have a good fit, or at least a reasonable fit with a particular faculty member. So the better that you can articulate that in your personal statement, the easier it is for us to see whether or not you're going to be suitable for our program. Okay. Now, for some of you, you might have multiple faculty members that you'd be interested in working with. By all means, list those individuals as well. But more than just listing who you'd like to work with, give us some reasons why those individuals would be good research mentors for your for your academic goals and your career goals. Some optional materials that you can include can be an academic CV. Oftentimes, depending on how far along you are in your educational journey, if recently just finishing up your undergrad, or maybe you've had a couple of years outside of undergrad, gaining some work experience, the length of this CV, might vary from person to person. But anything that you think would be helpful for us to know in terms of your preparation and credentials for graduate work, this information could be useful to put on a CV. A writing sample is also optional. It's not required, but sometimes this can be helpful information to kind of gauge your preparedness for graduate level work. For those of you who have begun the application process, I do really want you to, or encourage you, and for those who haven't started yet, to reach out with any questions that might arise or any assistance you might need. And in order to do that, you can contact myself, Dr. Allard, directly via my email right there. And then you obviously can get a little bit more of this information that I provided you today at our website. I will note that it still says experimental research. That's our old domain name. We're likely going to be changing this, but this link will still work, at least for probably the coming months, for you to get information about our program. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Look forward to hearing from you. If you have any information, please feel free to reach out. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.